Hello everybody, this is Not a Crypto Expert chiming in with another video, and in this video I would like to point your attention to a new device that came out, or excuse me, that's coming out in December. It's being launched by HTC. I haven't purchased an HTC device in probably 5 years. I probably used one through my job probably 2 to 3 years ago. But I've always admired them from afar. Probably the reason that I like the most, well, two reasons why I generally like HTC devices more than other Android devices is, number one, they generally have a very good camera. It's also, well, the devices that I've had either through work or personal use have been slightly cheaper than other flagship premium devices. And number two is the fact that they're Android devices. I'm a fan of stock Android. I'm a fan of Mateus, who is the guy that designed the user interface, or that does the user interface for stock Android for Google. So HTC generally does a really good job of not touching too much of the operating system, unlike Samsung. Like, they're not completely reskinning the OS, and they're letting some of the natural user interface or user experience come through on the handheld. Well, this device, none of that is relevant. This is the first time that I've ever watched a product release for a mobile device and the phone and the specs were not integral to what they were releasing. Phil Chen, and I would encourage you all to check out this video. I found it on the Web3 Foundation YouTube page, or if you just want to search Genesis to Exodus, the journey to the first crypto phone by Phil Chen at Web3 Summit. Phil's 21 minutes and 36 seconds was basically about you as a consumer being able to own your identity and staying away from, and keeping that data out of the hands of companies. Like, he actually has a term, GAFA, which stands for Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple, and BAD, which stands for Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. Those companies, he feels, owns us. They have more control than the federal government or governments do, because they know everything about our lives, from our habits, our eating habits, to our political preferences, to, I mean, just imagine what you text or emailed, or what information is being sold that we've given up our rights to because we didn't really read the terms of service for a particular app or website. With this device, Phil's plan is to start I don't want to say start, but to help to kickstart the Web 3.0 revolution, which is supposed to be about decentralization. And with this new device, I think that it's certainly a step in the right direction. It's not like the X phone, which I did a video on about a week or so ago. They're not making calls on the blockchain with this device. What they're doing is they're allowing you to keep your private keys private. So that way it's not in the hands of a mobile carrier. Well, now granted, mobile keys would be, it wouldn't be the same thing as like a cryptocurrency mobile key, but being able to just protect your data from third-party companies are going to do nothing but try to monetize it. So there are 3 keys to this new device. The first key I've already mentioned would be protecting your private data, which is going to be done by an actual hardware wallet that's on the device itself. The name of the wallet is called Zion. And what they're utilizing is an infrastructure or a utility or a feature that's in ARM products. There are already devices that utilize this. He actually referenced Netflix, and it's basically a way to have a separate operating system running parallel to the Android operating system. So that way it's a trusted zone. It's actually called a trusted zone. It's nothing that's new. It's something, like I said, it's been out for a while, but they're going to use what I'm going to put in air quotes, the micro OS, to help to keep your privacy safe. Now, if you've ever had a hardware wallet, then you know that the main thing is your recovery key. So let's say you've got a phone and you're utilizing it for whatever reason, cryptocurrency wise, and you lose your phone. Well, in this particular case, what they've decided to do, because that would be a huge thing, like if you lost the device, it was lost or stolen, or you can't remember your password or something like that, they have something called a social recovery key. And what it does is when you set up your device, you can select up to 3 to 5 people, and it's going to send these 3 to 5 people a portion of your security key. It's actually a term called Shamir secret sharing. Now, when he went over this in the presentation, I was thinking, hopefully you've got some people that are you can first of all trust, and that nothing ever happens to them, and you have to utilize the service, because let's say you set up your key to go to 3 different people, portions of your key to go to 3 different people. Well, what happens if like one of them passes away, or just anything? They no longer want to associate you for whatever reason. So it's like, what happened to the social recovery key? So hopefully they've got an answer or a backup to that. And the third key for this device is they really want developers in on the development of this device. They want to work hand in hand with the cryptocurrency community in order to see what it is that they need, or I'll say we, since I am in the community, and how can they take this to the next level to help facilitate Web 3.0 coming in even faster. Now they launched this device in Berlin, and part of the reason why they wanted to launch in Berlin was the Berlin Wall, and he wanted to kind of tie how our data is controlled by these companies, and that the walls need to come down. I would certainly say, if you have an opportunity to check out this video, please do. Like I said, it was the first time that I've watched a cell phone release video where there weren't like a bunch of impressive graphics on the screen showing how it looks when it's wet, or how it looks when you're taking a selfie that you really don't need. And there was actually a question that was asked from the audience, what were the specs, or what differentiates this device from other devices? And his answer was, there is nothing. He said, all the specs are what you would find on a flagship phone. And I'm actually going to show you the specs really quickly. I mean, and it's nothing, that I would call sexy. There is no, he didn't sell the sizzle at all on the hardware of the phone. It was all about protecting our data as citizens from these corporations that have really made billions of dollars by using data that we've been freely giving them. So I'm just going to run over the specs. It's a 6-inch Quad HD display, 35 milliamp battery, 12 megapixel camera, and a 16 megapixel on what looks like the back, 2.8s on the front. You can record 4K and 60 frames per second, which that is actually very nice. I've always liked the HTC sound. And that's really, let's see, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, fast charging. Really, I mean, it's a, I'm not going to call it a high-end Android device. The Galaxy Note, Galaxy S10, the few Sonys, those are what I would consider high-end Android devices, but it's certainly nothing to scoff at. This, I'm pretty sure, will be a great device. HTC normally has very solid devices. Their build quality is normally great as well. They've also, in my opinion, actually, let me take that back. They've always had good build quality, in my opinion. But I want everybody to take a look at this video. They are going to be accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum for the device. The one thing that he was mentioning during the video, I didn't get where they were getting Genesis from. And once this loads, okay, the Genesis block. And Phil explained that this device, their first HTC device, was released 10 years ago. And then I want to say like a month or so afterwards, the first Genesis block of Bitcoin was mined. So that's actually where the Genesis block came from, and for the tagline of this device. But yeah, I got the X phone that's actually making phone calls on the blockchain. Now we've got a device that actually is putting security and privacy in mind first before everything else that comes with a cell phone. So check out the video. Once again, I can't say that enough. Check out the video. It's not your typical mobile device launch, but it is informative. He didn't even mention any wireless carriers, so it's just it was really an interesting look into someone who I believe that he and I share some of the same things. As far as, I'm a big privacy advocate. I hate giving up my data to anyone, especially a corporation that I know is going to be making money off of it. So it was, if nothing else, check it out just to see a cell phone manufacturer or someone that works for HTC and not sell the cell phone, but blockchain and cryptocurrency. So with that being said, folks, let me before I sign off. Someone asked why they were not accepting privacy coins, and I didn't really like the answer. But it was essentially, they were doing good to be able to accept Bitcoin and Ethereum, considering some of the people that they have to go through as far as selling devices. So with that being said, folks, check out the video, and I hope that you are having a great morning, a great afternoon, and an even better evening.